Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Little Tren, We Have a Voice. Before we get started, I'm going to give everybody time to join in. But for those on TikTok that are already on, please like and share the live. So tonight we have a very special guest and a very special co-host. So tonight, But before we get started, once again, please share the live, like the live, get as many people as you can to join the live. So without further ado, let's get started. Before I introduce my guests, I would like you to help me welcome my co-host, my mentor, Mr. Young Sean A. White.
How's everybody doing out there in TV world? Hoping that you're having an exceptional Friday, and this is going to be a fantastic interview. So let's go ahead and get it.
Okay. So, before I introduce my guests, for those who don't know me, my name is Trinity Davis Floyd. I'm 9 years old. I'm in the 6th grade. I'm an author of 3 books. I'm an entrepreneur, motivational speaker, actress, model, singer, CEO, and a podcaster of Little Trim We Have a Voice. And the reason I made this podcast is because some adults, I'm not going to say all, some adults overlook the youth. So I made this podcast to prove to the youth that we can do anything we put our mind to. And before I introduce my guest, I actually wrote something for him. My guest is known for I see good in you, better, greater. I am grateful and it's in the room. I wrote this little poem for my guest before I introduce him. In the room, I see good in you, a glimmer of light, better days ahead, shining ever so bright. In the warmth of our hearts, gratitude flows, greater than the challenges. Love only grows. In this sacred space where our spirits bloom, it's in the laughter, it's in the room. Moments of stillness, a gentle embrace, finding beauty in every face. Heartbeats, help me welcome and show your love to Mr. Anthony Ponder.
Woo, 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 woo.
All right, welcome.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. And man, I'm blown away. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
So I do have a few questions for you. So can you start by introducing yourself and what you do?
Sure. So my name is Anthony Ponder. I am a native of New Jersey, born and raised. I love New Jersey. Woo, woo. New Jersey in the house. Yes. All right. So I've been doing music maybe since I was a kid. I was kind of born into it. It was who God has birthed me to be. Um, right now, I'm kind of doing a few things. So I actually have a podcast as well called Soul Therapy Moments, which we talk about just things that I, as a youth, could not talk about in church, and just being able to be transparent and offer a source of healing for people, a source of community where people don't know, where people begin to realize that they're not alone in everything that they're going through. I also have a residency in New York City called Soul Therapy Sundays as well, at SOBs, which is on pause right now. So we'll come back to that, which is why we're doing the podcast. More importantly, right now, I have a music group called Anthony Ponder and Ministries Desire. We're 2 albums deep. Billboard success, thankfully, thank God. And that's probably where my heart is right now. So my heart is right now in the music and being able to release what God is saying creatively in that aspect. We're getting ready to do our latest album, our newest album, which is going to be our third album, called the Grateful album, and that's going to be coming out within 30 to 60 days. So we're excited about that. And more importantly, I am here with Miss Trinity, and I'm excited about that as well.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So, where did you grow up and did it have an effect on you?
I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey, and I would imagine that it definitely affected who I am now. What I was exposed to, it's kind of it's I think it's a good and bad thing. Whereas I was really really sheltered. I was a church kid, so I was in church all the time. I grew up holiness Pentecostal, so if anybody understands the structure of that, we were in church all the time. So I'm thankful for it because it gave me a great foundation as to who I am now and what I believe, my personal convictions. Um, and part of me wants to say that. Um, there were things I didn't get a chance to do, but I'm grateful that I didn't get a chance to do those things because I was in church and so busy with church. So yeah, I believe that that was the impact here.
Nice, nice. And Anthony, welcome once again, man. It's an absolute pleasure. I heard so much great things about you, and so
Man, the
this
pleasure
is
is
very
mine.
very exciting to say the least. I do have a question to ask you, in which that I want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. In which that, can you please share with us how it's in the room came about?
Ooh, man. All right, so I think we got enough time.
Yeah.
It's a story, but it kind of blows my mind every time I think about it. So I'm the way I'm gifted in terms of how I write music. Um, I can kind of just write at any time, right? That is my gifting. However, uh, I for some reason I had a dream. I did this song. I was at a concert and some artist was singing, and I don't know who the artist was, but it was an artist. I was at a big stadium, and the artist says, "Hey, we're gonna introduce a new song to you, and we want to get your thoughts on it. We hope that you like it, right?" So he started singing the song, and I was backstage, and I could see the whole audience responding and hearing the song for the first time. So the artist they were done. They finished the song, and then all of a sudden, you could see the audience was completely impacted by the song, and they started singing the line towards it. God is here, so is a miracle, something like that, right? And so I woke up. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up. I was like, man, that was a good song. Whenever they release that, like, lives are gonna be changed. So I didn't think anything about it. I went back to sleep, and then literally woke up and just like, I'll tell you exactly what I said. It's like, dummy, that's your song. God is talking to you. And so I didn't realize that God was downloading a song, and I believe that He gave me the song that way so that I don't get in the way, right? So, I think we kind of have our own. We all have our own styles. We all have our own preferences in terms of how we listen and like music or like certain things. So I think God gave me the song in the dream, so I couldn't get in the mix of it. So if anyone studied my music, they kind of know "It's in the Room" does not sound like my traditional style of writing. It is completely different for me. So I was thankful that he did it that way. But that's how "It's in the Room" came about. I didn't I have to take credit for it, but I don't want to take credit for the song. I felt like I didn't write it. It is unlike me. It is unlike my style. But that's how God gave it to me. And I'll tell you what, I think to further that, I've also learned as a writer to not force things. So sometimes, I'm like, oh man, I want to write a song. I want to write a song about Trinity's podcast. So
Okay.
all of a sudden, I'm cool. I'm creating melodies, but there are times where it doesn't flow naturally, right? So in this case, I tried to when God gave me "It's in the Room" through the dream, I only had half of the song. I could not finish it, and I tried because I really felt it in my spirit that I was supposed to release this to the world. So I could not finish it, and I started reaching out to friends of mine who wrote, and God placed in my heart a specific friend of mine named Thomas Warren, and I didn't know Thomas at the time was sitting in the hospital. Thomas is in the hospital going through a personal surgery that he did not want to share with his friends. And so he was dealing with this on his own. So him and the God are having this conversation. I send him part of the song, and 5 minutes later, he finishes the song. My point is that again, I didn't have my hands in it personally, and so I was very careful with this song, and I was really appreciative of the song, and I felt like I needed to take care of it because I felt like God had literally downloaded a song and gave me a baby that I needed to birth and release. So that's how the song came about, and it is the most. I've never had an experience like that with music, so I'm really happy about that song.
You know what? It's something definitely want to comment on that, Anthony, because I know exactly on what you're talking about. I had an experience like that. But for all those that's tuning in, we just want to say welcome, welcome. You're here, little Trent. We have a voice along with yours truly, Transformation Greatness and SBN, the Small Business Network podcast. This is episode 346, and we have here Brother Anthony Ponder, and he's just shared with us, I mean, something amazing, in which was really a spiritual download, and that's how the song was actually birthed. And what I wanted to say on that, that's
Mm,
just like equivalent, say for instance, because I'm a speaker. So let's say for instance, if I say, okay, you know what, I have a talk, I know exactly on how to way I want this to flow, on how this is going to look, and I'm writing it, but then when I'm trying to finish it off, I get stuck,
right,
and it's like,
right,
okay,
right,
like why
right,
am I so stuck? Like it was just
mm,
flowing so greatly, and now I'm just stuck. And then next
right,
thing you know, it comes to me in a dream, and I'm like, wow, you know what? That's
right,
an amazing speech. Man. I have some great points, and then it's like, the Holy Spirit of God gonna be like, hello, that's for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I gotta write something real quick, like so
yeah,
that way I remember it, and then go back to
right,
sleep, and then
yeah,
I can look at it and be like, oh wow.
right.
So I definitely can relate to that, and
Wow,
that's just
wow.
truly amazing.
Yeah,
So
I've learned to just quick, I've learned to use my voice recorder on my phone. So when I wake up and there's certain things that God is saying that I know I'm not gonna remember, I'll just pull my phone out and just and so that's what happened that night. In the middle, I was like, man, it was a good song. And then when I realized it was specifically for me, I went and got my voice recorder and recorded the
Yeah,
song and I remember it. It was crazy.
nice,
that's
nice, nice.
that's
Yeah,
me.
say that again.
I said that's me right now.
Wow.
See, there you go, there you go.
I've
Anthony,
had I've had one other experience with it's weird, man. It's like so we can be so busy doing God's work and almost forget about God. I don't know if that makes sense. So right, so we're so focused on I got to do this, I got to do that, but sometimes I realize that I'm so busy being busy and not consulting or not asking God about direction in terms of how He wants me to do things and what He wants me to say, right? And so
Mhm.
again, a lot of times we can get so I don't want to use the word like cocky, and it's not that, or just so confident in who we are, which I think is good, that we forget about the source, right? So again, I know that I'm gifted to write, so that is what God gave me, and I'm confident in that aspect. So instead of sometimes it's like, yo, God, what do you want me to say? How do you want me to say this? I
Right.
just sometimes just go and do it, right? Because I have the gifting, and I think it's really important that we not forget the source in terms of how we're moving. And I want to share this moment, just a transparent moment, just again because it's interesting how extreme God had to move in order for him to get his message out, and it really allows us to not take for granted. Um, the power of impact, right? So Trinity's life and Trinity's gifting is not for her, it's for the people that she's going to impact, right? And
Mhm.
so the things that she needs to say, the things that how she's moving, how what she wants to say in this podcast, all the other things that she's going to do as an entrepreneur, those are not, I've learned that those things are not for us. It is for the people that we have been assigned to impact, right? And so I found myself so busy and like, I'm going minister. I'm gonna go sing this song. Oh, we're gonna go record an album. I'm gonna go write for other people. All this great stuff. And I'm just moving without. I'm literally almost forgetting about God because I'm so busy being busy. And I want to express this moment in a transparent moment, but I just think it's important to be honest. So so you can understand how important it was for God to create this particular message for me. So I ended up being irresponsible many years ago. So I've been delivered from this many years ago. I did not take care of a parking ticket. So in the middle of not being taking care of a parking ticket, I got uh, I got pulled over and I got pulled over and I got arrested. So I didn't go to jail. I was just, just in a holding cell. But I was there for about 5 hours. And in that moment, just God began to just download music. And it was in a way, and I literally I felt like I was wrestling with him because he would sing a melody, and then I would go and try to kind of, oh, but I hear it this way. And I literally heard God say, stop, just listen. And I just began to listen. And I just began to receive what he wanted to say, and it was so important that I said it and sung it and wrote it a certain way for the sound that he wanted to create. So again, that's just a life lesson that I began to take on. That being busy doing God's work with and leaving God out of the equation is crazy, right? So
Right.
um, yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. You were asking another question.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. I was just checking too, just to see if there was any comments, and also I was just sharing this fantastic interview all over my social media handles
Yeah, I
because
want to do the same thing. Uh,
absolutely. But Trinity, yes, I think you had some more questions for Brother Anthony.
Yes. Question 4 is, what impact on your life keeps you motivated? Um, what is your favorite downtime?
Okay, so for me, those would be two different questions that I would answer differently. So, um, ask the question again. I'm sorry, Trina. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
It's kind of a two-part question. So it says,
Hmm.
what impact on your life keeps you motivated, and what is your favorite downtime?
Oh, okay, cool. So, what keeps me motivated? I think it's the understanding that this is not about me, right? So, when I understood that concept, that any success I've created, anything that I've created, or anything, honestly, anything that I do. Is far beyond me. So God moves through me for the sake of other people. And so when I began to realize that, there was a level of accountability that I had to take on. There was a level of responsibility that I was awakened to. So I am now aware. I am now conscious of the fact that what I do impacts and affects other people. And so it is important in terms of timing, in terms of when I release music, how I release music, and even how I market that. Because again, it's all important because of the other people's lives that's going to affect. So we go through it. God, puts us through the process, but He puts us through the process for the sake of other people. And so when I began to realize that, it was first of all, it was humbling, right? So you take the equation, I was like, this ain't about you anyway. Like, this ain't for you to be famous. This ain't for you to get in the type of notoriety. This is for other people to be blessed and for other people's lives to be changed. So that was, I think, the um, most impactful thing. And downtime, I like to travel, right? And I like to do adventurous things. So, um, I want to say last year I went skydiving in Costa Rica, and that's probably the most exciting thing I've done, and scary at the same time. But I like to explore. I like living life, and I love to travel. So that kind of keeps me balanced.
Wow. I
Mhm.
want to go skydiving now.
Enjoy. You know about yourself. Right.
What is the best advice you could give to the youth today, especially in music and behavior, to keep them encouraged?
Oh, that's a good question.
Do not avoid or even be upset about the process. Process is important for everyone. We all have to go through a process for whatever it is that we have been assigned to do. A lot of times, especially in this generation, we want things immediate. We want microwave success. We want microwave responses and results. And it's really important that we uh, release to the process, meaning being receptive to it and not be bitter about it, right? So sometimes processes don't feel good. Growing up and being developed does not feel good most times, but it's necessary. Again, would you want a doctor to work on you who did not go through the process of going through school and going through years of
No,
training? Again,
no.
exactly. So you wouldn't want a lawyer to represent you who had not done the process of going through school, working long hours. Again, I'm sure that wasn't easy, but it was necessary. So that's my advice, to not avoid, and there's a place of rejoicing in the process, right? There's a space where it says, God, I'm grateful because I trust you. So I don't like this. It doesn't feel good, but I trust that your hand and your plan is better than mine. So I know I need to go through this. So let me embrace it. Right. So that's my advice.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, 100%. Anthony, I'm just curious, what would you say is your career experience like, if you had to describe it?
My career experience.
No, your creative experience.
Mm. Uh, I've learned to. It's it's very funny. You would have to excuse me, you would have to see it in action. It's kind of hard to explain, but when I'm in the creative spaces, I am like on 10, like I'm like this, and it comes quickly. So
Mhm.
I multitask uh easily and a lot, even probably when I shouldn't. So I'm probably thinking about 10 things always at all the time. So when my creative flow starts going, it is like you can literally see it. I think people can literally see it downloaded because I'm like and it just comes spitting out, right? So, but from a writing perspective, I've learned to to not force my creative flow. I've learned to stop. I've learned to not to turn that part of me off because sometimes there sometimes we move in a way that we're not in season to move. Ooh, that's good. All right, so yeah, we're not in season to move. So again, I am I this is what I'm supposed to do, but there is seasons for everything, right? So I've learned to stop and wait. So I move when he tells me to move now. So that's literally musically, that's how I creative go. When I start hearing songs, man, then I know it's time to do an album. Otherwise, I shut up. I don't have to. I've learned to. I don't have to flex to myself. Oh man, I can write a song for what? I want to be intentional with my life. I want to be intentional with everything I do. So my creative right now is it's either in a particular season or it's nothing. So that's what it looks like right now.
Gotcha, gotcha. And for all those that's tuning in, once again, welcome here to Little Trend. We have a voice along with Transformation Greatness and SBN, the Small Business Network podcast. This is episode 346, and we're interviewing Anthony Ponder. If you have been liking as far as on what you've been hearing, by all means, please do us a favor. Please go ahead and like, comment, and share this out. I mean, we are looking forward as far as for everything that's going to be taking place in the near future. And hey, if you're like Anthony, or if you know someone like Anthony, they have like a story, a message, something which they're passionate about, hey, we would love to go ahead and hear from them. So either get in contact with myself, Mrs. Davis, or Commissioner Dr. James McConnell for more information. Anthony, this is a good question here. In terms of your career, how do you manage your career along with family time? That is a big one. How do you pull that off, my friend?
Yeah, man. So unfortunately, I don't have an immediate family yet in terms of kids and things like that. Yeah, we're working on it and waiting for God to move in that regard too.
Absolutely.
But I love family time. Like, I appreciate. Like, I have my grandfather had, I think, maybe 20 something kids. So it's a lot of us, right? So
Wow.
it's a lot of first cousins,
Wow.
and I'm so appreciative of that. So when during holiday time, that's probably one of my favorite times because I love being around my family. There's so much energy, so much life,
Right.
so much support.
Right.
So for me, I don't always have a great balance with it outside of the times that we're supposed to. But for me, I don't do holidays without my family. So And when it's time to show up for my family, because they're always showing up for me, I'm always there. So I believe in family. I love family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Trinity, do you want to ask this last question or?
Yes. Last question. What did you want to be when you were a kid and why?
A singer.
Oh, why?
As soon I don't know because I love music. Um, I remember when I was a kid, my mom would play music and I would remember the song and I would go and rewrite it. I would go do a remix of it. So I kind of knew, like I always knew. It was always music. Music was always the first love for me. So I can't explain it. I was just drawn to it.
Mm. So that was your dream when you were a kid?
It was my only dream. I saw nothing else.
My passion is singing. I love singing.
Really?
Yes.
What type of music do you listen to?
Gospel, R&B. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Name your top two gospel artists and your top two R&B artists.
Hezekiah Walker mm, and you.
Great answer.
Oh,
Great
that
answer.
was somebody is training you
And
really
then
good. Somebody's doing some good training. That was good. Good answer.
for R&B, I don't really know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know.
You like Taylor Swift?
Oh yeah.
Well, hold on now. Hold on now. I thought we said R&B. Hello.
And
Well,
Who's
they
else is
fuse
R&B?
over R&B,
Yeah, I
pop.
see.
oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like
No, it's
Tasha Cobbs.
okay.
What's that song we was listening to on the channel?
I know.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh man, good
And Taylor.
choices here. Okay, cool. I'll take it. That means you put my name in good company. I'm honored.
Yeah, but
But let me
Hezekiah
know about
Walker,
you.
I know.
You can't go
That
wrong with Hess. You can't go wrong with Hess. He never misses.
So that is all the questions I have. So
And I was just checking here to see if there's any comments. So I'm not seeing any comments. So I guess you're
I
good
was
to go.
trying to find the link. I was trying to see where you guys tagged me because I wanted to share it, but I couldn't. I couldn't get it. So my apologies. So once I get off, then I'm gonna jump on and share it. Um, let
yes,
people know.
because
Good
I'm
deal.
only statements, not questions.
Mandy Robinson had a
A
question.
question.
I'm trying to find it for you.
Oh, she did.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. Oh, okay. She said,
Oh,
"What
I
are
see it. Thank you, Latanya. I appreciate that. I'm gonna share it right now. I got it.
what are some of the challenges you face as an artist in today's industry?"
Ooh, that's a good question.
Hmm. I think he froze. I think his camera froze.
I think he's first.
No, I
Just
was
give
when I went back to the Facebook to share it. I guess it freezes on my side. So I heard the question though. It was really really good. Challenges music industry right now, right? So it's the idea of, if I'm honest, it's the idea of finding a place. There's a happy medium that you have to find artistically where you are authentic to who you are, and yet you are aware of how the music industry is changing, right? So you have your sound, but you also have the sound of what's in right now. And so that, I think the challenge for me is finding a happy medium between the two. Be authentic to Anthony, but also be aware of what's happening right now. So there has to be a level of compromise creatively, I think, when we're dealing with consumers, right? Because the goal is, if I release music, I want people to buy it. So if they're not going to buy it, then nobody's going to hear it. Then there's no value there. So I think for me, the challenge is being able to find a happy medium of authenticity and also commercialism. But that was a great, really good question. Thank you.
That that was
That
very.
was yes.
And
Is there? Oh, Kenny Callens said, "How many songs do you have?"
I have no idea.
Oh,
So,
Um,
commercially, I'll probably maybe 20 or so between the two albums. So maybe 2025 between the two albums that are out right now. But I have no idea. It's a really,
yeah.
really good question. I've never been asked that.
Heartbeats, you can actually go to YouTube to find his song.
Yeah, check out the new video called "The Process" we just released top of the year a few days ago. So we're really excited about that. That was my directorial debut. I've now invested in some equipment and beginning to do my own media. So that was my directorial debut. So I'm really proud of that. So hope you guys do check that out when you can.
Game Changers also said, "What advice can you give to us
aspiring.
aspiring gospel artists looking to break into the industry?"
All right, so this is gonna be right in line with what I just said in terms of myself. But I think the first thing for aspiring artists is to be authentic to your sound, be authentic to who you are. Um, we have enough replicas, we have enough copies, um, and I think people at the end of the day are still looking for um, authenticity and and for people to be who they are. So um, my first word of advice is being authentic to yourself and figuring out how to make that work.
I actually have a question.
Hmm. Sure.
Are you planning to make any more songs?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm going to be releasing my full album. It's a lot of songs. Very, very soon. So that is coming out very shortly. But I can kind of answer that whether you had an album or not. This is my life assignment. So I'm going to be making songs until I die. That's just who I've been called to do, and who I've been called to be, and what I'm called to do. So the answer, no matter what, album or not, yes, 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 yes.
I love that. I love as far as on what he just said. He said something very, very powerful that I'm going to continue to make music and songs until the day I die. And that is someone that knows his purpose and he knows his calling. And so I can ID with that because as being a speaker of my friend and a coach and a radio TV personality, this is something in which I'm going to be doing quite frankly until Jesus calls me home. That's just the
Exactly.
bottom line. That's my
Yes, sir.
story, and I'm sticking with it. Okay,
Sure.
I love that, and I wish that more individuals would find a purpose and a passion because the
Ooh,
sooner they do that, brother Anthony, the better it will be for them. I truly believe that. Just like with
100%.
Trinity, I mean, at 9 years old, I mean, just like my God, like the things
Yep.
that this young lady is doing and which will continue to do is just mind-boggling, but
Yeah.
she's in
Yeah.
her purpose, right? She is aligned to what she's supposed to be doing. And
That's right.
so when you said that, it just kind of triggered something. I was like, yes, I absolutely love that. So congratulations, my friend.
And thank you
Is there
for finding your purpose because your purpose is, as we talked about, impacting other people. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, man, I'm happy that you're doing it. I'm happy that you found joy in it, and thank you for all of us who you are impacting because you are following purpose, man. I love that. Thank you.
that's what I'm saying. Thank you, appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Ma'am, go ahead, Trinity.
Um, because I also agree because God has given us a purpose to do what we were assigned to do.
Hmm. That's right.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
right.
And also, God has kept me here for 9 years with a condition and cause of me possibly passing.
Mm.
So, anything through God, I'm grateful to still be on this earth all through the grace of God.
And we are grateful that He has kept you. again, we appreciate all the people that you are motivating and inspiring at your young age, and again, the walking in purpose is, I mean, just sitting here with you is absolutely astounding. So thank you again for the honor. Thank you again for I it's so I'm almost awkward to say for your yes, because you just don't imagine someone saying yes to their assignment and their purpose at this age, right? So at 9, I knew what I was supposed to do, but you know that I wasn't walking in it in this capacity, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, just sitting here with you is absolutely mind blowing. So I am grateful. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful for how He's using you and how He's moving through you for all the reasons that He has um, ordained.
Indeed. Indeed. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
So that is all for tonight, Heartbeats, unfortunately. But I just want to say thank you to my co-host, my guests, and the audience, a great audience. So I just want to say thank.
Indeed. Indeed.
So again, if you have any youth or anybody that does amazing things that you would like me to interview, you can contact my mom on Facebook as Latanya Davis Floyd, on TikTok Latanya Davis, YouTube Trinity Davis Floyd, and Instagram Trinity_Davis Floyd. Or, also, how can they reach you, Mr. Anthony Ponder?
Hey, so you can reach me at apmdnow.com, apmdnow, NOW on IG, apmdnow on Facebook. And you can just check me out personally at Anthony Ponder, and that's on IG and or Facebook.
Great. So that is all, Heartbeats. And remember, never give up.
That's
Absolutely.
right.